No man is an island. So they say. Therefore, this makes relationship a very important aspect in a man's life. Jennifer Karina, whom we all know by now, she's a household name, has published so many relationship books and coached so many people on how to have successful relationships at work, in school, and more importantly, at home. We'll be talking to her shortly, but first, take a look.
Her strong advocacy for stable and healthy families in the community inspired her to author a book with the title Marriage Built to Last.
I felt a calling to be able to to empower people, to make a difference in the lives of people, to counsel, to mentor, to coach. And to be able to do that, I actually started off as a lay counselor at the church level. And I recognize that there's not very much that I can be able to achieve without being a professional. And so I set out on a journey to be able to empower myself.
This book is based on her experiences for over 30 years in her marriage.
These young people sometimes do not get married to the right partners, and as a result, they begin the marriage on the wrong footing. It doesn't mean that because you have gone through a passionate relationship that your marriage is going to be passionate, and that because you have been married to the man or the woman that you are very attracted to, that your marriage is going to be bliss. No, marriage is different from courtship and a fantasy. It's not about fantasy. It's about now roles, it's about regulations, and it's about responsibility.
As a counselor, she has touched different people's lives who have problems with their marriages.
When you have not been able to speak to someone about what you're going through, when you are frustrated every day, that is what has resulted in people picking pangas, cutting one another, taking hot water and splashing on their husbands simply because of frustration and hopelessness.
In order to impact on more people who cannot afford her services, she gives free talks in the informal living setups.
Let me say that in terms of being able to empower people, make a difference in their lives, for me is really a call. And I don't look at the monetary value for this. God has blessed me, I have worked, I have been able to educate my children. And so when I think about empowering, even as I was going to school, I wasn't looking at being able to be wealthy out of being able to coach people or counsel them. And even as I wrote the book, I would have paid to have the book published because I wanted it to be in the hands of every other woman to be able to change their lives.
Karina believes that the family is the cornerstone of the community. Without it, there is no vision for the nation, and as such, it should be healthy.
Marriage is beautiful, but marriage takes work, commitment, and dedication to make it work. The level of commitment in your relationship is important. And I want to say to you that there is no marriage that will share a 50-50 commitment. And so if your commitment to the marriage is 90%, so be it. Your partner may be committed only 10%, but this continues to shift. And tomorrow, it's different. Your partner's level may be the 90, and yours may be the 10%.
Jennifer, Karina, welcome so much to the Touch Show. Wow, it's such a privilege to have you. We've had you on FM stations, TV stations, a great launch you had, yes, and definitely a great book, which we'll be talking about, in the course of this interview. But first of all, Jennifer Karina, where did you start? Where did you get the niche of, you thought, okay, relationship,
yes,
something needs to be done?
Yes.
When was the turning point?
Thank you, Noella. When I started to write this book, I began on this journey because I knew that marriage is a challenge because I was in one and have been married for the last 34 years. Mm. And I can say that I've had great joys in my marriage, and I've also had great challenges. But thank God that today I am still in the relationship and enjoying and married to just the most gorgeous man and the father of my children. In the process of counseling, because I've been in the business world for many years, but later in life I felt that I needed to be one that touches lives. I wanted to make a difference in my generation. So I actually went back to school and studied psychology, and as I interacted with people, I realized that relationships is a real big thing, and especially marriage. A lot of ladies that I interacted with were frustrated, and so I put together some marriage fitness seminars. As a result of the seminars, I recognized that I needed much more than just to have a seminar and go home. I needed someone to take a manual home with them so that they can refer to it. I also noticed that a lot of times people marry the wrong person for the wrong reasons, and when you begin the marriage journey with the wrong person, it becomes very difficult. That passion is the one that led me to writing this book. And even as I wrote this book, I always told my husband, if one person will be touched out of reading this book and their life transformed, it will be worth it. What has amazed me is the number of people that this book has touched, transformed, and I just cannot keep up with the mails about how I have made a difference in people's lives. And so all I say is glory to God,
Amen.
for it is His doing.
On the issue of what is happening at the moment, something we talked to Mudhoni Dikimani, men getting, battered by their women. As a marriage counselor, someone, a guru on how to have successful relationship. What do you think is happening?
Well, I think Mudhoni gave it a good shot, and she talked about role modeling. And women have been good role models for their daughters, and so where have the men been? They have not done proper role modeling. I think it is, women were quite disadvantaged in the beginning, and there was need to empower the girl child. And we continue to empower the girl child, who is today very empowered. Now, the boy child may not have been totally forgotten, but men are sometimes generally intimidated by a successful woman. And so in the cases that where we are seeing today, in terms of men not taking their responsibility, it is really a situation where the family systems have broken down, cultural systems have broken down, and as a result, these are the fruits, the consequences that we are seeing, because the man does not know and recognize his role in the family. He gets into a relationship without the knowledge of what is expected of me as a man in the relationship. When you're getting married as a man, what is it that you are aspiring to become, and where are you going, and what path would you like your wife and your children to follow? Because the husband is the head of the house. If you don't have a roadmap to where you're going, anywhere becomes the right destination.
And even some men they say, getting married, not even men, even women, I'm getting married because I'm trying to meet my deadline. All my boys are married, all my girls are married, it's time. It's quite sad.
That's peer pressure.
Yeah.
And we are all prone to peer pressure. And yes, all my friends are getting married, so the right thing to do is actually get married. And life is about developmental stages. If your friends are getting married, it actually means that you are in that developmental stage where marriage is expected of you.